You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Young and the Restless fans. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have a question for you that's very important. Do you think that Diane Jenkins is back to her old tricks? I know some of you suspect Diane has been running a long con on Jack Abbott ever since she resurrected and began contacting him anonymously from San Francisco. Now, though, she's been in town since March of 2022. It's been over a year. It's gone so fast. So if she is conning Jack, it is a very slow burn indeed. But there's this new information that's come to light, this new storyline that points to Diane Jenkins being back up to her old tricks. And I don't think her husband is going to be pleased at all. So let's dish the dirt. But if you haven't already, please click subscribe so you don't miss any of our Y&R updates. Of course, many Young and the Restless fans have been waiting for the other shoe to drop ever since Diane crawled out of the grave, hale, hearty, healthy, and looking to get back into her son Kyle Abbott's life, and of course, back into Jack Abbott's life and his heart and his bed. And now she's made all of that happen and more. She's now the beloved Dee Dee to her grandson Harrison, and she's even on friendly terms with Ashley and Billy Abbott, with Summer Newman and other people. So the question we're faced with is, can Diane really be trusted? Among those who suspected she was bad news from the jump were, of course, Ashley and Nikki Newman and Phyllis Summers. As of now, Ashley's backed off ever since Diane gave her the Heimlich and dislodged a grape that was choking her. Jack's sister has changed her tune, and they're even drinking tea together like real family. Nikki's not so sure and doesn't miss a chance to tell Diane she's got her eye on her. But let's be real, Nikki's got bigger problems now that her hellspawn alleged granddaughter Claire shoved her off the sobriety wagon. And of course, Phyllis has not given up on her vendetta against Diane, but she's had to backburner it because she almost ruined her own life playing games trying to take her down. So what is it that has me saying Diane is up to her old tricks? Well, it's all about her son, Kyle Abbott. While right now she's not up to the same sort of shenanigans she was back in the day, you know, running amok, playing with lives, seducing, cheating, faking her own death to set up her rivals to go to prison. She's not doing that, but she absolutely is going behind Jack's back with something huge, and he will not like it when he finds out. So if you recall, Kyle Abbott, like a month or so ago, and for a while, was being a total spoiled brat, very entitled, and demanding that his daddy fire Billy and give him that co-CEO job. And then he decided, because he didn't get it, to conspire with Audra Charles. And then, of course, she brought him to Tucker McCall and embroiled him in their scheme. And then, like the dummy that Kyle is, he realized, oh, crap, they're going to ruin Jabot so they can take it over. So then he's like, oh, this is a bad idea. And he ran home to confess his stupidity. And that's where Diane jumped in and got involved in these sneaky shenanigans. She asked Kyle to play double agent and spy on Tucker and Audra, but she didn't want him to tell his father, Jack. And that's where the trouble began, and it's getting worse by the day. So Kyle's over, playing low rent corporate spy with Tucker and Audra, but he's kind of playing, without a clue. He's never been a brainiac, and Tucker can outthink Kyle as if he were a kindergartner. And don't even get me started on Audra. I think she's a ton smarter than both of them and is using her lady bits to keep them off kilter and distracted. So even before Kyle came back to them and said he'd keep spying, Tucker predicted the Abbotts would flip and ask him to be a double agent. So, Mr. McCall is thinking many steps ahead, and Audra, of course, has got Kyle's head clouded with her body, her sexy lingerie, and her bedroom skills. Meanwhile, Diane has Kyle reporting back to her, and her alone, about his progress trying to find out what these two are up to. And so far, guess what? Kyle's found out nothing, because on his best days, I don't think he could think his way out of a wet paper bag, can't find his own butt with a map, that kind of thing. I could go on, but I won't. So Kyle is now back to Jabot officially as of Thursday, November 30th, U.S. episode. He's COO, Chief Operating Officer, a job his daddy handed him after Jack said a couple of months ago that Kyle needed to prove himself, pay his dues, work his way up from the bottom. How is COO the bottom? Okay, maybe the bottom of the C-suite, but it's not the bottom. He's not paying his dues. He's not working his way up. And now the big problem is Billy and Jack are trying to sort out this Tucker mess, and they don't have all the information they need. Billy, of course, has noted Kyle has been around with Audra and has had conversations with Tucker. So, of course, Kyle is on Billy's radar as a possible traitor spying for the enemy. Meanwhile, Jack keeps insisting his son isn't a traitor, he isn't a threat. And then this week, Jack cranks up the pressure on Billy and says, just forget about Kyle, keep your head in the game, stay focused. And Billy's like, okay, fine. But Billy's not going to stop thinking about it. And the problem is Kyle is doing Diane's bidding and putting Jabot at risk because he's got to give Tucker some information or the guy will know he's double dealing, which the guy already knows, but Kyle doesn't know he knows. So Tucker will refuse on the November 30th episode to give Kyle any information about his game plan, but he asks Kyle to go sniff around Billy and find out what he and Jack are up to at Jabot. So Kyle said, what are your plans? Tucker's like, I'm not going to tell you, because he knows what Jack and Billy don't, that Kyle is a sneaky sneak who's playing both sides. So the big question is, how long until Jack figures out or catches Kyle talking to Tucker behind his back and assumes the worst? Will he blow up on them before his wife Diane and his son get to explain, oh, it's all a setup? I mean, there's the very real risk that Kyle will screw up and accidentally give the enemy some information that could seriously damage Jabot. And of course, this is all Diane's idea. And she told Kyle, keep your daddy in the dark. I cannot imagine Jack is going to be happy to find out his wife's been keeping something this big from him. Of course, he thinks she's 100% changed and is this all new, fantastic, better version of Diane Jenkins. Diane Jenkins 3.0, because it was her and then it was Maura West and now it's Susan Walters again. So he's head over heels in love. He has no doubts about her, and that's too bad because he is being played. Of course, on the flip, Diane and Kyle have the best of intentions by keeping him in the dark. But you know what they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. And there's really no need for Diane and Kyle to keep this from him. In fact, if they looped in Jack and Billy, the two co-CEOs could decide what info to feed Tucker, and they could tell Kyle what to ask, what to watch for, and they could advise him. Instead, he's reporting to Diane, who isn't privy to everything her husband and brother-in-law are doing at Jabot, so she is not the best person to manage this spying effort. When it all comes out, I totally see Jack blowing up at both Kyle and Diane. I don't think he would divorce Diane if it just comes out that they were lying while his son was spying. But if them playing these games puts Jabot seriously at risk, I'm not sure how Jack Abbott might react. You guys know he blows up. He can be a real grudge holder. I mean, look at how he's treating Phyllis right now. So I could see if things come out and everything is really bad and his dad's company is truly at risk to Tucker, I could see Jack dumping Diane if he sees this as a red flag that she hasn't really changed and has been playing him all along. So we'll just have to see how it goes. So please click subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to drop your comments on how you think Jack will react to this stunt that Diane's pulling. And do you think she's changed or just hasn't shown her true colors yet? Let us know. I love your comments. Come back soon because we're here talking Young and the Restless 7 days a week. This has been Belinda from Soap Dirt. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.